How do you stop doing it all alone and build a powerhouse board that works with you to fund your mission? You are a founder and you're most likely doing it all alone. You have a disengaged board, a board that's passive, and you're wondering, how can I ever get my board members to work with me to build my organization? How can I get them involved in fundraising? How can I actually build an organization that's fundable? Well, I'll tell you this: regardless of the present situation you have with your board and your organization, it's not entirely your fault or a people problem. It's a system problem. Over the next couple of hours, I will show you the right system that can help you transform your board into a powerhouse team and also build a fundraising system that can ensure your organization is funded. For us to do that, you have to know why you need your board. The 5-step process to build a board that steps up, gives, raises money, and works alongside you to build the organization. How to systemize the organization for efficiency, and how to build a fundraising system with your board. Now, why do you need your board? The truth is this: you are never meant to do it alone. That's the recipe for disaster. That's the recipe for frustration and isolation. And you already know that because you're most likely doing it alone and you know this is not sustainable. Also, you all are co-trustees, so it means everyone has a responsibility to play to ensure the success of the organization. Plus, you can tap into their skill set, to their network, and to their resources. This is something you could pay for where if you were in the for-profit space, but because you're a non-profit, you have access to this opportunity. And also, you need them to build a sustainable system because you can't be everywhere at the same time. I'll tell you the truth. You can't be raising money and doing marketing and executing programs. You're going to wear out soon. But with your board members, you can be able to reach out to these different aspects of the organization. And lastly, your role and that of your board is not to do the work. Your role and that of your board is to create the roadmap and build the team that does the work. So basically, that's the system I'm going to be providing you today. A roadmap to help you create the roadmap and build the team that does the work. Let's jump right into the 5-step system immediately. Now, the 5-step process to get your board members to step up and give and work with you. The very first step is what we call the board reactivation. Regardless of the present state of your board, you can't reactivate them. You can't get them to step up. This is for those who have passive board members, disengaged board, right? And I know it's very easy to think you only just have to go out there to bring in new board members and get these old board members off the board. But it doesn't always work right with our experience working within the non-profit space. If you bring in new board members into the same dysfunction, you are most likely going to repeat the same dysfunction that you are presently experiencing now. So you have to reactivate your present board through what we call the board audit. This is going to help you understand how your leadership approach is impacting your board that led to the present state of the board. Help each board member self-reflect so that they know how best they want to move forward, so that those who want to step down can step down and those who are willing to step up can step up, right? And then also it helps you see the gap within your board so that when you go to step 2, you know exactly the right kind of people to bring into your board. So for step 2, when you're recruiting new board members, it's not about filling seats or just having people join your board. It's about bringing the right people into your board that complement your board, that makes your board into a powerhouse team. Like I said, you need a powerhouse team to be able to execute successfully for your organization. You need a fundraiser, you need a marketer, you need somebody with human resource experience. These different experiences are what makes up the powerhouse team. So if you're running a board that lacks these experiences, you're most likely going to struggle. So that's why you need to recruit new board members to complement your board. And for those who do not have board members, you must recruit a powerhouse team that can help you, achieve the vision and the mission of your organization. And there's a process to it. As I would always say, the process to bringing in board members is as important as the quality of board members you bring. Because if you simply invite board members in, you're most likely going to have them disengaged in no time. But if you take them through the right recruitment process, you can ensure and guarantee their commitment over time. The third step of the process is strategic planning. Now you've reactivated your board members, those old board members are ready to step up. You have new board members who are asking what's the way forward. Strategic planning is actually the way forward. By planning with them, you get them to commit to the mission. As we say in community development, people who plan together execute together. So to get them to execute with you, you need to plan with them. The mistake most founders make is they outsource this process, and at the end of the day, you find out that you have a board that can't work together because they didn't go through this process. And at the end of strategic planning, there's what we call delegation, which is where you delegate authority to them to be able to take on these different aspects of the organization. The fundraiser is helping with the fundraising side of the organization. The marketer is helping with marketing. And when we talk about delegation, it's not just about delegating tasks, you're delegating authority, you're delegating a whole aspect of the organization so that the fundraiser can go develop a detailed fundraising plan that includes the process to raise money, the people needed to execute the plan, the materials, and the budget for that plan. This is very important for you to be able to execute with them. So when it comes to board execution, which is the next step of the process, board execution is basically your board members, you working with each board member to recruit the people needed to execute the plans they've created and working with them to develop the materials so that they can start working with the team to execute. And I know for some, you may not have the resources to recruit, full-time staff. You can't bring in volunteers for a start. And as you bring in more money, you upgrade to part-time staff and then to full-time staff. And that's how you build an organization with the different departments running successfully for your organization. Now, keeping the fire burning is all about ensuring the sustainability of the process you've started. You don't want your board members to go back to the disengaged path. That's why you must get them to continue putting in the work and working with these teams to create the results that are needed for the organization. And of course, there are different steps you can take to ensure that. Once your board is organized and in place, you can move everyone down to the fundraising part of it, where you all then work to create a fundraising system for the organization, because it's the responsibility of your board to ensure your organization is funded. So the first step of the process is identifying the ideal funders, people with a natural inclination to see your organization succeed, people who benefit the most from your organization, or people who benefit because of the people you serve. You must be able to identify who these people are and then build a list of these people. And there are steps you can take to build this list. The second step of the process, of course, is creating a resource development plan. A resource development plan is a step-by-step process to raise money from these people you've identified, right? With your resource development plan created, you need to build and equip a fundraising team to execute the plan. So the same process that's running for other aspects of the organization, where there's a plan and then there's a team to execute the plan with the resources needed to execute that plan, that same process that has to run for fundraising. So once you have the team and the people to execute, the next step is to launch the fundraising campaign. And we recommend what we call the relationship building fundraising campaign that gets them to know you, like you, and trust you before you make the ask. This, of course, is going to increase your donation rates to as much as 70% and your retention rates to as much as 60%. Once your fundraising process is in place, the last step of the process is automating your fundraising and building a culture of philanthropy. This is where you get to automate the fundraising processes so that you don't have to always put in effort for these processes to run. And then building a culture of philanthropy, which is basically holding everybody accountable and then setting up a system where everybody knows how they contribute to fundraising so that your fundraising process can continue. So you see, for each aspect of the organization, these systems have to run, and it is your job as a leader to guide your team to build these systems. The reason you're struggling today, the reason your organization is struggling, is because you've not been able to work with your team to build these systems. So how do we help you? Basically, we help you by empowering you and equipping you to be able to work with your team to build these systems. We are a capacity building organization, and so we believe as a leader, you have to step up as the leader and then take charge. That's how your board members respect you and follow you, and that's how everyone within the organization is going to follow you. So we help you by coaching you, showing you the process, helping you understand the process, and then providing you the tools to execute so that you can do it right. For people who want a more hands-on experience, of course, we work with you by holding your hands through the process, providing you the tools, providing you the confidence, the support for you to take charge of the entire process so that you can actually show up as the leader that's needed for your organization. And for those who are self-starters who think they can execute the process, we would give you the roadmap, we'll give you the instructions, we'll give you the tools, the board audit form, strategic planning templates, delegation templates, identifying your ideal donors template, how to launch your fundraising system, how to execute your board execution, all the process, the templates and instructions will provide it to you so that you can be able to show up as the leader you are meant to be. I look forward to seeing you in our meeting where I'm going to tell you more on how we can help you and explain how this process can be executed within your organization.